Family of murder suspect complains of police ill treatment. National recount of ballots commences. 12 juvenile offenders escape from SOPHIA Holding Center. In the region, PAHO director warns against lifting coronavirus restrictions too early. And internationally, United States President under fire for coronavirus response. Greetings and welcome to another edition of Channel 2 Headline News Update. I am George Gonzalez. Thank you for joining us. It was a drama-filled morning at the Arthur Chung Conference Center today, and after a 2-hour delay, the national recount of the March 2, 2020 general and regional elections finally got underway. According to reports, the delay was caused by several reasons, including enhanced security screenings, issues over media accommodations, objections over the observer accreditation of a popular social media commentator, a rusted lock on the containers holding the ballot boxes, the presence of 2 unknown locks on another container, and a hole in one of the ballot boxes which reportedly allowed water to leak into the box, thus wetting its contents. The integrity of the votes in that box have yet to be divulged. The process began with the counting of ballots from Regions 1, 2, 3, and 4. 2 workstations will be counting for Region 1, another 2 for Region 2, and 3 each for Regions 3 and 4. In this report, Bibi Backus tells us that construction on the former Ocean View International Hotel is continuing.
The work to convert the former Ocean View International Hotel to the Caribbean's first COVID-19 hospital is still ongoing. On Friday, the government gazetted the acquisition of the facility for an undisclosed cost. Following this, Associate Construction Services, headed by Peter Lewis, was awarded a contract of more than $50 million to erect a solid 900 feet of concrete fence and an additional 920 feet of revetment work, to which is expected to stop the flooding or significantly reduce it for the time being. Given its location near the seawall, in recent years, spring tides from the Atlantic Ocean have wreaked havoc on the former hotel. The most significant of such flooding episodes occurred in 2013. According to the former owner of the hotel, the entire building was flooded within minutes, resulting in millions of dollars in damages. Nevertheless, other expansion works on the building began on April 6th and is expected to be completed later this month. While the complete cost of the project has yet to be disclosed, some reports claim that it will be in excess of $1 billion Guyana dollars. For Headline News Update, Bibi Backus.
Thanks, Bibi. On Tuesday morning, the police arrested a 37-year-old resident of Den Amstel, West Coast Demerara, at the Bartica Stelling for possession of narcotics for the purpose of trafficking. A search of his belongings uncovered over 2 kilograms of suspected cannabis concealed in 10 dried coconuts. According to police, the suspect is currently being processed for court. Stick around. Coming up after the break, 12 juvenile offenders escaped from the SOPHIA Holding Center, and family of murder suspect complains of police ill treatment.
Hurry down to Zasco on 15 North Road between Camp and Wellington Streets. Quality products at low cost for every room in your home. 65 and 55 inches high-stand 4K smart TVs. Samsung French door fridges. Black & Decker appliances, queen and king size Canadian-made mattresses. German-made pressure pots in 5 to 9 liters. 12-piece pot sets, knife sets, cutlery sets and pans, commercial fans. Samsung smart stoves. Canadian-made 3-piece recliner sofa sets. Air fryers and Hamilton Beach hot and cold water dispenser.
For that reliable, prudent, and courteous traveling experience, your choice is G3 Cabs, located at 228-229 Aubrey Barker Road and Beverly Close, South Randolph Gardens. Travel in comfort and safety with our deluxe fleet of new vehicles and neatly trimmed drivers serving our customers around Georgetown. We deliver cooking gas, small packages, run errands, and provide minor vehicular roadside assistance such as jump starts of vehicles, flat tires, spare wheel assistance, and more. Contact us on 218-4982 or 218-4500. G3 Cabs. You can count on us.
Oh gosh, what's this? Me son can't read or spell. Stop! 0 out of 20. Is what I could do here.
Hi guys, my name is Ms. Singh and I'm the senior teacher at the Literature After School program. Due to the spread of the coronavirus and the need for social distancing, we have moved our in-class learning activities to online via Skype. On the online site, we will be focusing on spelling, phonics, reading, and the National Grade 6 assessments. For more information, you can inbox us or call us.
Contact us on 675-4379.
I can call them now.
Hidden Treasures, discovering gems in young minds.
Anyone who believes he or she was exposed to coronavirus COVID-19 must stay at home and not mix with other family members. This quarantine is to help stop the spread of the virus at home and in our communities. While at home for 14 days or 2 weeks, here are some valuable tips you must follow. First, get a separate room which family members will not be allowed to enter during those 14 days of quarantine. Ensure this room allows you to get lots of fresh air. Second, if you must meet family members, stay at least 1 meter or 3 feet away from them. Third, when it comes to personal hygiene, other members of the household should use a separate bathroom. If you must share a bathroom, ensure you always clean the taps, doorknobs, and all utensils with soap and running water. Fourth, limit the number of visitors to your home. Anyone in quarantine must not meet and greet any visitor. Fifth, practice frequent hand washing with soap and running water. Wash your hands for at least 20 seconds every time. If there are no soap and running water, use an alcohol-based hand sanitizer with at least 75% alcohol. Sixth, always avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth with unwashed hands. Seventh, after using face masks or gloves, always throw them away. Put them in bins with covers. Remember also to always use separate plates, drinking glasses, cups, and other eating utensils, towels, bedding, and other items for the family member who is in quarantine. And don't forget to use detergents every time to wash all utensils, bed linen, and clothes used by the person in quarantine. Please remember to use the thermometer, not the back of your hands, to monitor the body temperature of the quarantined family member. Monitor them 2 times every day. Be sure to write down the temperature. If he or she develops a fever or temperature above 37.5 degrees Celsius or 99.5 degrees Fahrenheit, cough or has difficulty breathing, sore throat, body aches and pain, immediately call the COVID-19 hotline by dialing 180 or 181. Protect yourself and others. Play your part in helping to reduce the risk of contracting or spreading COVID-19. This is a message from the Ministry of Public Health in collaboration with PAHO WHO. For more information, kindly visit the Ministry's website www.health.gov.gy or its Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter pages.
Welcome back. Shortly after midnight, 12 juvenile offenders escaped from the SOPHIA holding center. According to the police, the inmates assaulted 2 officers during the escape. The condition of the officers is currently unknown. However, an alarm was raised shortly after the escape, and a search of the surrounding communities netted 5 of the youths. A full investigation has been launched while the search continues for the remaining 7 juveniles. Last night, convicted drug trafficker and Lusignan prison escapee Anthony Padmore was recaptured by police just before 7 p.m. at his girlfriend's home in La Bonne Intention, East Coast Demerara. She and another occupant of the house were also taken into custody and will face charges. Padmore was serving a 3-year sentence when he and 3 others escaped from the Lusignan prison's holding bay 2 weeks ago. One of the other escapees, Sasnarine Bisnath, was recaptured last week on the east coast of Demerara, while Ken Raul Perez and Ganesh Danraj remain on the run. The relatives of 18-year-old murder suspect Timothy Evans are upset with the treatment they received while in police custody. Esther Sober spoke to the family and tells us why they're upset.
There is often a sense of concern, shock, and humiliation that overcomes the relatives of a person accused of murder. This weekend, those feelings were even compounded for the family of 18-year-old murder suspect Timothy Evans. According to one family member who asked not to be identified, on Friday, officers from the Ronville police station went to Evans' home and arrested several individuals, including 2 females, Tanisha and Ansel. The 2 young mothers were detained for 3 days at the station.
Father complied with them and he went down to the station. And when he got down there, they all on everybody had him on the bench. No water, no food, nothing. And people have to be providing stuff for them, and that's not nice. They are young ladies, young girls.
She further related that the nursing mothers began to feel ill while in police custody.
The mothers were getting fever, the breasts were swollen. We asked for the mothers to be released and they never released them, but they were not involved in this situation. They probably live in the same home, and I don't know what transpired there.
The women were released on Sunday. While they are not seeking compensation, they nonetheless question the manner in which they were treated while in police custody, as they claim to have nothing to do with the accusation against Evans. Nevertheless, police have yet to catch Timothy Evans, who is wanted in connection with May 1st shooting death of his neighbor, 59-year-old Florence Ford of West Ronville, Georgetown. For Channel 2 Headline News, Esther Sobers.
Thanks, Esther. Don't go away. Coming up after the break, PAHO director warns against lifting coronavirus restrictions too early, and U.S. President under fire for coronavirus response.
Hurry down to Zasco on 15 North Road between Camp and Wellington Streets. Quality products at low cost for every room in your home. 65 and 55 inches high-end 4K smart TVs. Samsung French door fridges. Black & Decker appliances, queen and king size Canadian-made mattresses. German-made pressure pots in 5 to 9 liters. 12-piece pot sets, knife sets, cutlery sets and pans, commercial fans. Samsung smart stoves. Canadian-made 3-piece recliner sofa sets. Air fryers and Hamilton Beach hot and cold water dispenser.
For that reliable, prudent, and courteous traveling experience, your choice is G3 Cabs, located at 228-229 Aubrey Barker Road and Beverly Close, South Rentville Gardens. Travel in comfort and safety with our deluxe fleet of new vehicles and neatly trimmed drivers serving our customers around Georgetown. We deliver cooking gas, small packages, run errands, and provide minor vehicular roadside assistance such as jump starts of vehicles, flat tires, spare wheel assistance, and more. Contact us on 218-4982 or 218-4500. G3 Cabs. You can count on us.
Oh gosh, what's this? Me son can't read or spell. Stop! 0 out of 20. This is what I could do here.
Hi guys, my name is Ms. Singh and I'm the Senior Teacher at the Treasure After School Program. Due to the spread of the coronavirus and the need for social distancing, we have moved our in-class learning activities to online via Skype. On the online side, we will be focusing on spelling, phonics, reading, and the National Grade 6 assessments. For more information, you can inbox us or call us.
Contact us on 675-4379. I can call them now. Hidden Treasures, discovering gems in young minds.
A face mask only works if it is put on, used, and removed properly. This is a surgical mask. Before putting on a face mask, you must wash your hands properly with adequate soap and water for at least 20 seconds, or use a hand sanitizer with 60% or more alcohol. Before putting on your face mask, you should also check your mask for holes and tears. And remember to identify the top of the mask. The top of the mask has a metal strip. Put the mask on by holding the two elastic loops. Place one loop on one ear at a time. Pull the bottom of the mask to cover your mouth and chin. Place the mask over your nose. Pinch the stiff edge of the mask to the shape of your nose. Remember, do not pull down your mask while in use. Do not touch your mask while in use. If you do, please wash your hands immediately. To remove the face mask, hold the elastic loops from the back of your ear, pull them apart, do not snap, and pull it downwards. Then place in a bin with cover. Do not forget that as soon as you take off that face mask, you need to wash your hands immediately. Also, replace your mask once damp.
Welcome back. Now we take a look at news in the region and around the world. Director of the Pan American Health Organization, Dr. Carissa Etienne, is advising Caribbean countries against removing COVID-19 control measures too early. During an update of the situation in the Americas yesterday morning, Dr. Etienne said, quote, "The social and economic pressure we are seeing now will be even greater if we fail to contain the virus, if we remove control measures prematurely and then overwhelm our health system's capacity. We must all continue to act aggressively to contain the spread." End quote. Etienne urged all countries to think locally, as this was the best way to combat the virus. Latin American countries have reported more than 270,000 cases and more than 14,000 deaths attributed to COVID-19. According to the Pan American Health Organization, the region is experiencing what Europe did 6 weeks ago. Al Jazeera's Manuel Rapallo reports.
As the coronavirus pandemic continues to spread across Latin America, the country with the highest death toll is Brazil. There, the number of dead stands at more than 7,000. In Sao Paulo, authorities have begun blocking main avenues in an effort to reduce contagion. Only an estimated half of the city's residents are obeying social isolation guidelines. Some say they have little choice.
It is going to help a lot, because the number of deaths are just getting higher and we need to do our best so this is all over soon. I think this is very important to be isolated. Just leave home those who really need to leave. I left because I have to work, but I avoid leaving the most I can.
Brazil isn't the only country bracing for the worst of the COVID-19 pandemic. In Peru's capital, Lima, healthcare workers have held street demonstrations over a lack of resources and protective equipment.
¿Qué es esto? Por favor, Dios mío.
Medical personnel also protested over the mismanagement of 20 bodies of coronavirus patients left unattended over the weekend in the hospital courtyard.
Video has come out of the hospital with bodies. 2 days ago it began to rain on all the bodies in the open air.
Fears over COVID-19 contagion have sparked unrest across many Latin American countries. In Honduras, hundreds took to the streets of the capital, Tegucigalpa, on Sunday to prevent the bodies of coronavirus victims from being transported for burial. Protesters blocked roads, fearing becoming infected by the bodies of the deceased.
We don't want them to send people to be buried in this cemetery because those people are infected and there are a lot of families here.
One of the strictest approaches to containment has been from El Salvador. Though some policies, like the forced long-term detention of people accused of violating stay-at-home orders, have raised an alarm over human rights abuse.
Tenemos 41 días confinados.
We have been confined for 41 days in this containment center. We only ask the government authorities to give us the results of the COVID-19 tests carried out in order to discharge us.
According to the Pan American Health Organization, Latin America is experiencing what Europe did 6 weeks ago, meaning the region is only now entering the peak of the coronavirus pandemic. Manuel Rapalo, Al Jazeera.
And internationally, the U.S. president's coronavirus response is under even greater scrutiny after accusations arose that he sought quick fixes by recommending unproven drugs to patients and ignored early warnings about the crisis. Al Jazeera's Mike Hanna reports.
No face mask for the president while visiting an aerospace company repurposed to produce masks. This in defiance of his administration's guidelines that masks should be worn in public at all times. The president confirmed reports that he was considering shutting down the coronavirus task force that has been responsible for the federal response to the pandemic.
As far as the task force, Mike Pence and the task force have done a great job, but we're now looking at a little bit of a different form, and that form is safety and opening, and we'll have a different group probably set up for that.
Are you saying mission accomplished?
No, not at all. The mission accomplished is when it's over.
While the president was on his travels, this document was handed over to the Office of the Special Counsel, an 89-page whistleblower report alleging the Trump administration ignored early warnings about the coronavirus. The authors, Dr. Rick Bright, the former director of the Biomedical Advanced Research and Development Authority, the country's controlling body for vaccine production. He alleges he was unfairly removed from his job following complaints about the administration's lack of urgency in reacting to the pandemic. He also specifically mentions resisting pressure from senior officials to fast-track the use of the drug hydroxychloroquine and chloroquine itself in treatment for the virus. The drug was heavily and repeatedly touted by the president himself at task force briefings.
I think it's going to be very exciting. I think it could be a game changer, and maybe not. But I think it could be, based on what I see, it could be a game changer.
Dr. Bright contends his opposition to this position led directly to his effective demotion as officials sought to placate the president.
A lot of what Dr. Bright's whistleblower complaint is about or demonstrates is the extent to which the government at the higher levels is committed not to solving the problem, but to keeping Donald Trump happy today, keeping him happy tomorrow. And that's not a way to address a very major problem like this.
It was only a week ago that the FDA formally cautioned against the use of these drugs for the treatment of coronavirus, despite the warnings that Dr. Bright made back in January. Perhaps the most damning allegation in the report is that the administration ignored or pushed back against Dr. Bright's emails warning of the severity of the virus and insisting that the national stockpile of masks and ventilators needed to be augmented. Unlike other government officials who've been demoted or fired, Dr. Bright is demanding his job back. And Congress will now get involved. Dr. Bright's lawyers confirm he's been invited to give evidence to a House committee on Thursday next week. Mike Hanna, Al Jazeera, Washington.
That's all for today's regional and international news. Here is your 3-day weather forecast. And that's all for this edition of Headline News Update. Tune in Friday at 6 p.m. for another episode. Be sure to subscribe, like, and follow us on Facebook and YouTube. Also, visit our website at headlinenewsguyana.com for more news. Until then, take care.